I keep trying to tell people that there are levels to this NBA thing, okay? You got basketball players, you got hoopers, and you got certified psychos, okay? Luka Doncic is a certified psycho when it comes to being on that basketball court.
And look, he's having words with Snoop right now. Snoop appreciating.
Luka had it on his mind that he was not going to be denied tonight and that they were going to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals by all means necessary. What he did in that first quarter, I believe, set the tone and snatched the soul out of the Minnesota Timberwolves before they even had time to realize that they had to play a Game 5, okay? In that first quarter, the Timberwolves had 19 points. The Mavs had 35. Do you know how many points Luka had of that 35? 20. He outscored the Minnesota Timberwolves' entire team in that first quarter by himself. I'm talking about logo 3, just toying with the defense, get into that mid-range, getting into his floater. I'm talking about no rim, no nothing, straight net every single time. Every time a ball was going in the hoop for Luka, all you heard was
14 for Luka on the logo.
Like, I'm serious. No shot looked bad to Luka the entire time. This is all we're seeing.
Another heat check from Luka. Doncic again, another 3. Got it! He's a flamethrower! He is on fire! 20.
And a lot of people had a lot to say about Kyrie Irving in Game 4. Do you know how many points he had? 36. How many points Luka had? 36. 36 and 36, all right? The duo could not be stopped in this entire game. It's like they took turns. When Luka went on his run in the first half and he had to be subbed out just to take his rest, then Kyrie was like, oh, my turn, bet. Tag me in, buddy. We about to get out here and get busy out here on this court. We about to go ahead and get done what we need to get done and go ahead and start packing our bags and go to Boston. This entire Game 5, to me, was nothing that the Minnesota Timberwolves did wrong, and it was just everything that the Dallas Mavericks did right. I mean, we're talking about almost a 30-point lead at halftime in a must-win Game 5, and it almost got to the point where you're looking at the Timberwolves like, did you only care about just not getting swept, and that was it? Because if that's the case, y'all could have just got swept, and we could have went about our way already, because to get blown out in a must-win game like this was even worse after how much heart and determination they played in Game 4. It was like total opposites. It got to the point in the game, it's almost like you were begging Luka to stop hooping. Like, can you just stop already? Because everything is a bucket. It's to the point in the game, he does the little shoulder shrug after he banks a 3-point shot with the shot clock going down. And what's even worse, Ant and Cat both had 28 points. They both played extremely well. The defense just didn't seem the same. They had no answer for Luka. What he did in that first quarter, I'm telling you, took the soul out of that team and set the tone for everything else with PJ Washington, with Derrick Jones Jr., with Derek Lively out there. It was nothing that the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think, could have done other than try to throw Luka on the ground or something and lock him in the basement so no one could see him, because in that first quarter, it was over. Luka and Kyrie aren't the only ones that get a lot of credit for this win. This is Nico Harrison, all right? He is the head of basketball operations for the Dallas Mavericks, and he is also the GM. I'm going to tell you this. If you know a family member of his, if you see him out, buy his dinner. If he's at a coffee shop, buy his coffee. If you see him in his car, wave and say you're saying a prayer for him and give him a hug. Because without this man, this team, this Dallas Mavericks team doesn't get orchestrated as they are right now, okay? He is the one who made the moves for all those trades at the deadline. He got y'all Gafford. He got y'all PJ Washington. He was like, no, we need Kyrie Irving. They moved the pieces around to make sure that this team could be orchestrated to make a run like they're making right now. He saw the weaknesses, and he knew what y'all needed to be strengths. If you see Nico Harrison out in the streets of Dallas, you hug that man. You do whatever you need to do to keep him happy, all right? Because he is a big reason, if not the reason, that this team finally got all the pieces it need with their superstar Luka to make this run and get to the NBA Finals. So thank you, Nico Harrison. Do you think I'm making it up about how Nico Harrison really made all these moves to get the Dallas Mavericks to who they are? Even players around the league know that this is crazy what they've been able to do with the trades that they got, because that was the missing piece to all of what they needed. Their rebounding, their defense, their toughness. It all started with Gafford and PJ Washington. Keep in mind, there were a few players around the league that actually had the chance to get traded to Dallas, and they rejected the trades because they didn't think that Dallas had a really championship-built team. You even got Tyler Hero and PJ Washington's live currently saying, how you go from Charlotte to the finals, you really made it out the mud with this one. Now, come on. And y'all think y'all don't deserve to go hug Nico Harrison if you see him in the streets of Dallas? You need to go hug that man and keep him in Dallas as long as you possibly can. Let me also say this too. The Minnesota Timberwolves are a good team, a very good team, but they are a young team. And Anthony Edwards is a 22-year-old superstar. So don't take this time to be like, I told you so, I told you so. He's cocky, he's arrogant, he's not really MJ, he's not ready for the moment. He's a 22-year-old superstar that is learning. Don't take this opportunity to try to hate on him. He ain't gonna be down for long in the NBA, I can promise you that. He has all the intangibles to be able to lead a team to an NBA Finals, but what does he have to do? Learn. That's what the greats do. All the greats have had stories like this where they lost to maybe a more seasoned team, to more experienced superstar, and they take it on the chin and they learn and they figure out what they need to do to get back there. If he was able to get this young team to the Western Conference Finals and beat the defending champs how they did, they could return back and be able to get their lick back on whoever is here next year and try to get their way to the NBA Finals. Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be fine, okay? You add a few more pieces here and there maybe, but he said something really good in the post game. Now I know how to train for the playoffs. He's never played in the playoffs. He's never been this deep in the playoffs. He's never been to a Western Conference Finals, and he said that. It's not an excuse, but it's the truth. He said, now I know what I need to do, which is probably more conditioning to be able to make a deep playoff run. He even took accountability and said, I wasn't out there training this offseason like I was going to make a deep playoff run. I wasn't training like I was going to go to the finals because it's different. I trained for 82 games, and that was it. And he was like, now I know what I need to do. So that's the best thing about this. The also thing that everyone needs to understand, Anthony Edwards is about to spend a summer with LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry at the Olympics. If you don't believe the Olympic leap is real in the NBA, you're about to see it with your own eyes. What he's about to get is going to be so different. And the next year, Ant, that we see, it's going to be a different story and a different game. Just keep waiting. But the Anthony Edwards and Minnesota Timberwolves have a lot to be proud of in this season. Didn't end how you wanted, but the future is bright. The NBA Finals are set, and we got the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks facing off. There's a lot of storylines, but one storyline you definitely need to pay attention to is that Kyrie Irving is facing off against his old team. Yes, he played for the Boston Celtics before he went to the Nets, and everybody remembers that it didn't end that great. We all saw the video of Kyrie Irving stomping on the Celtics logo, chatting with fans. He had a lot to say about Boston, okay? And fans kind of had a lot to say about him. Even this tweet ended up happening in 2023 where it said, Kyrie Irving hasn't had much success since leaving LeBron James. And it was a timeline since he left LeBron and how it hadn't been really successful for him. He saw this tweet and he commented on it and said, pin this tweet and see what happens in the next few years. Will I be doggone Kyrie Irving? You are now back in the finals and have a chance to get your second NBA championship. Don't drink the Kool-Aid that the media is trying to make right now that like one team is more superior than the other. I can tell you right now, these teams are more evenly matched than people really realize if you're really watching the games. The Dallas Mavericks are a completely different team, and the Boston Celtics are a great team as well. This series is going 6 or 7. I can promise you that. This is not going to be clean sweeps. It's going to be some great basketball that's being played very soon, and you want to be prepared for it, all right? Because the NBA Finals are coming. Tell me who y'all got. You got the Boston Celtics or you got the Dallas Mavericks, because we are about to see some great hoops come June 6th.